Welcome to the realm of magic and mystery, classic horror and sci-fi. You are now entering the House of the Unusual podcast with your hosts, Eddie and Joe. Welcome all you cool ghouls and friendly fiends to the House of the Unusual podcast. All right, I'm your host, Joe Pavlansky. With me, as always, are my good friends, Eddie, Chuck, and Cheri. Everyone, what's up?
Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
All righty. We got a lot to talk about today. Everybody's been doing so much this week. It's been a busy couple weeks for, I think, pretty much everybody on here. But I'm going to turn it over to Chuck and Cheri real quick to see what's been going on with them. So, Chuck and Cheri, what's up?
All right. Doing pretty good, Joe. I mean, I've been doing shows like pretty much every day or just about like every other day. I just did one this morning. It was a daycare, like a preschool type of thing. And so, yeah, keeping very busy. And Cheri's been coming with me on shows sometimes too, right?
Yes.
Well, I hope you didn't do your horror magic to the little kids there.
He didn't. He modified it.
He modified it.
That's a
good.
good thing.
Yeah, I keep it pretty benign. You know what I mean? I don't chop any arms off or anything like that. I keep
no
it
floating
nice.
skulls through the crowd.
No sword through the dove.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Nice.
what's up with you guys?
Oh, we've had a lot going on. I want to hear from Eddie. Eddie, was in Florida for
I know.
the past week, lounging on the beach, just soaking up the rays. So let's see what happened down in Florida and see what's new with him. So what's up, Eddie?
Well, it was kind of ironic. How are you guys? How's everybody? What I thought was really cool about Florida was that, well, when I was going there, unfortunately, I mean, praise God, she's fine. But my mom had COVID. She had a positive test on 2 days before I flew there. Actually, the day before I flew there. So when I got there, I actually was able to take a vacation. I stayed in the beach. I only traveled to some stores and stuff. And, we went down to the beach like around, I think it was like 1 a.m. or late at night. And I started recording the waves. And I did a couple of videos there. And there's one there also that I had some fun. Let's just put it that way. I had some fun. One of them, I put it up on Instagram, and I'm sure Joe saw it already. For those people that haven't seen it, you got to look at it. It's on Instagram. Very interesting photograph. The other things, other than that, I think I wanted to also bring up I was doing some reading, and I came across something very interesting about UFOs. So I'll bring it up in a few after we start the program.
All right.
Go ahead, Joe.
Awesome, man. That sounds like fun. I'm sure we all wish we could be hanging out down at the beach and the ocean. But my past weekend was Monster Bash, and it was absolutely fantastic. It's
all right.
Time. They had it in the Marriott Pittsburgh North Hotel in Cranberry Township this year. So it was a new hotel, and it had its pros and cons, but it was a very, very nice venue for Scary Monsters. The dealer's room was a little bit tight and small. It was kind of crammed in there, but the viewing room was absolutely huge. There was tons of chairs, which was a huge plus this year because the viewing room always gets very crowded. And there was, I tell you what, there were some great guests there this year. There you had Carolyn Monroe.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, you had. I'm trying to see who else was on here. There was the two from. I'm trying to find their names on here. No, I can't. I'm looking at my schedule. They're the two from Land of the Lost. I can't remember their names off the top.
Oh, do you mean the daughter, the young girl, the daughter, and the son? I guess. Is that
the daughter and the son. I'm trying to.
Yeah, I forget their names. That was a cool show. I used to watch that when I was a kid.
That was a great show. And
his name is Will, and I forgot her name, but his name was Will.
Yeah, Kathy Coleman and Wesley Erie were the two from there.
That's it. What does she look like? Because I've seen pictures of her where I don't know if it was photoshopped or what, but she looked pretty bad. I mean, what did she look like?
She looks like an older version of her younger self.
Okay.
She looks pretty good. And they put on a good setup. They have the raft out there. They have a slee stack.
Oh, I love the slee stacks. They were
Yeah.
so cool.
You could get autographs in the raft with them and all that. They were pretty pricey for their autographs.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big autograph person or a celebrity person, so I kind of really passed on a lot of those.
The guy that played the father on there, is he still alive?
Nah, he passed away.
He did? Okay.
Oh, did he?
They go to Chiller every time. That girl that you're talking about, Joe, believe it or not, about 5 years ago, she looked like a walking skeleton. I think she had anorexia.
Yeah.
Saw her.
Yeah.
Like, wow, man. The guy was pretty cool. That guy, Will, I spoke with him about 4 or 5 months ago. They had the slee stack. I think they probably took the same thing over from Chiller over to there.
Yeah, they have a little setup they take to each convention they go to. Same thing as Slee Stack. They had the can't remember the name. It looks like a Yeti monster.
Yeah, that's Coach. What was it? Pocky. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Remember the little creature guy that looks like a Bigfoot?
Yeah, I forget.
I actually have a toy of him. That was the Slee Stack. I forgot his name now.
Wow, you know what? That has to be 50 years old. That show. I mean, I was young.
Yeah, what was it? Late 70s, I think. 70, around 78, maybe.
I think it might be before that, Joe. Maybe like
I'm
74.
gonna have to look it up.
I think it was 74, somewhere around there, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think I watched that before.
Oh, you never watched that?
No, I remember Lost in Space.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're right. 74 to 77.
Yeah, that was a cool show.
That early.
That was really neat. I love that show. It'd be on every Saturday morning. They had the Sid and Marty Krofft shows on there, and I think that was one of them, if I'm not mistaken. Lidsville, remember Lidsville? That was pretty cool.
It's showing the father, Spencer Milligan. He's still alive, 84 years old.
Oh, is he still alive? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, then I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, 84 years old. At least according to Wikipedia, he's still alive. Let's see. Jack Marshall, who was played by Ron Harper in season 3, he's still alive. And I'm trying to think. What was the thing? Was it called a Malik? Was it Malik?
That does sound familiar.
It's showing whatever I'm not too familiar with the show, but whoever the Malik was played by Richard Keel in season 3.
No, the Malik I think was something else. I know what you're talking about, but the little guy that looks like I bought a doll of him. Me and Jim had a crack. We were laughing at that because we got the doll and I forgot. It's got a name for it. I don't know if it's not Minion, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the.
Wow, I'm kind of.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm not too familiar, and it's been so long since I've watched the series. I should revisit it because
I'm kind of. You know what? I'm kind of curious now to see if I can find it and actually watch it. About 3 months ago, there was one episode I stumbled across. I did watch it. It was about the miner. They had stumbled upon a cave, and there was like a miner in there, and he was digging for gold and stuff. It was just a cool show. I mean, I used to watch that quite a bit.
Yeah, so they put on a good like I said, they put on a good presentation there. You had I tell you, I got to talk to a little bit, which they're always cool, is Drac and Countess Carita.
Yeah.
They're horror host and hostess from Ohio.
Right.
I've met them a few times and talked with them online. Very good people. I sent Eddie photos just to make him jealous, as I got a chance to meet and hang out a little bit with Charles Roseney.
Oh, cool.
So that was really cool. He drove in. I guess he said he did like a DJ gig the night before, and then drove 10 hours straight there, and then set up a booth to sell his books. The first night he was pretty beat, and he crashed after the guests were all done, and then he was busy the second night. But I did get a chance to pick up his book, the book of top 10 horror lists, which I flipped through it a little bit and read a few things here and there. It's really cool. This is definitely going to be a cover to cover read. And then he has another book that he just put out, and I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to have him on in a few weeks to talk about this. But it's called True Ghost Stories of Connecticut. First-hand paranormal accounts by individuals who experienced the occurrences.
Joe, the guy from we're talking about is called the Chaka. Chaka is the guy that looks like a Bigfoot on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a Chaka. I have
Yeah,
like a
that does
12,
sound
18 inch.
familiar.
Yeah,
Chaka.
Chaka.
Yeah.
I have like an 18-inch one of those. It was kind of funny the way I came across that, but anyway.
Yeah, so we're gonna have Charles on in a few weeks to talk about his ghost stories book, and he also has a paranormal event coming up around that time too. So we're gonna try to get him on. Before that, I already spoke with him about it, and he's down to come on. So yeah, those are his two books, but I highly recommend everybody out there getting a hold of the book of top 10 horror lists. It is, I mean, it's a thick book, and it's very cool. A lot of cool pictures in it and information. So got to pick up those, and I tell you what, it was a good time out there. The Monster Bash.
How was the turnout, Joe? They have a big crowd.
You know what? I was talking to another guy, and it kind of seemed like some of the dealers might have dropped. Some of the dealers that were supposed to be there didn't show up. I don't know if they dropped out, a few weeks or months in advance. But some of them that were on the initial list weren't there. The turnout I tell you, I was even telling my wife, because usually the turnout Friday morning, they start at 9 a.m. and there's usually like 10 to 15 of us in the room there until usually around noon. You'll start getting a lot more people.
Yeah.
And there was a good 40 people in there right at the start at 9 a.m. on Friday. So the turnout Friday and Saturday was fantastic. There was a decent turnout Sunday. Usually from what I've seen in the past, Sundays are pretty busy. It didn't seem too much this time around, but anytime any of the guests spoke, on the panels, they were packed in there. It was just wall-to-wall seating and standing.
Nice.
The guest area was packed. I think the dealers did pretty well. Just talking to a few, I believe they did pretty well. But like I said, the other venue, I think the dealer room was bigger and it was more, you had more room to move. This one was kind of smaller and you were very packed in.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think a few dealers, skipped out or couldn't make it. I know there was a few guests that couldn't make it as well because there were some issues and everything. So, but that happens. What are you going to do?
Joe, let me ask you a question, because I know when I went to the first chiller right after the pandemic, back I think in the November of last year, October, half of the dealers weren't there. This time when I went, the dealers seemed to have come back. There was only like one or two empty tables. How do you compare that show to the last one you attended?
The last one when I attended in October, I think it almost seemed like there was more dealers there than this one. I don't know if maybe it's just because of the size of the room where there was new dealers, but it seemed like October had October and the past June one that they had, there was more dealers there. I could be wrong just because it's a different venue, the way it's set up, but it seemed like, I was looking down the list of the dealers that were supposed to be there, and I didn't. There were some of them I didn't see that are always there, and some that were listed. But I know some had car troubles. I know some just weren't able to make it out with the gas prices. Going up.
That's true. That's another factor to take in. I didn't think about.
Yeah, because a lot of them they drive vans and everything there, or they have their trucks hauling, U-Hauls or something.
Right.
So I'm getting a lot of them come from out of state. So I'm guessing that gas prices put a big thing on their decision of whether or not to go or not.
I'm surprised, Joe, you didn't tell me that Cal Monroe was there. I would have had her talk to you. You could have actually asked her about being in our show, because I haven't been able to really speak with her. Only spoke with her daughter.
I was thinking about going to get get something autographed by her, but her line was always long. And when I go there, I like seeing the movies, and there's a few other people I talk to there. So I was constantly on the go and busy. And me and Charles were supposed to meet up Saturday, but we were both so busy, with everything going on, that we forgot. And I think he was kind of too from just the weekend. So, he kind of crashed out after his job was done in the guest room and everything. So, but I mean, it's jam packed. I mean, the first night, I think I was up till, I think the last movie ended around 4:15 in the morning. I didn't get to sleep until about
Whoa.
5. Yeah, and then I was up at 8, and
Oh
I think
my.
the last movie ended that night around 3:30. So it was nonstop
Wow.
going.
Nice.
Wow.
Wow, you're a wild man, Joe.
Oh, I paid for it. There was
Yeah.
times during the day I'd have to sneak up to the room and grab like a 15-minute nap or something, man. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's really nice because the guy that does the projection, Jeffrey Curtis, and I'd love to try to get him on here because he deals all with 16 millimeter and 35 millimeter, I believe that's what it is, film. And he has, I overheard him talking to someone that he has a huge collection of over 200 movies and over like 100 shorts, all on original films. So I would,
Oh.
just seeing those movies on the big screen, and you
Oh
hear
yeah.
that flicking in the background from the movie
Yeah.
reel. I mean, you can't beat it. Plus, everybody in there, just the positivity of the whole environment. Everyone just loving these movies. But yeah, I'd love to get him on, and I may send Ron a email to try to get a hold of him because I'd love to hear about his movies and how he got into it, and collecting all these movies for projections. And I guess he has a decent collection of projectors as well. So I think
Yeah,
that's
that would be cool. Hey, you know what? That almost sounds like a magic convention because whenever Cheri and I went there, stuff would go on to the wee hours of the night sometimes.
yeah.
And the last time we went was to Colon, Michigan, out there for Abbott's. And you know what? Like we were invited at some guy's house out there for like a private magic thing. Remember, it was at
Yeah,
midnight.
we said, "Oh, we're too tired. We're too old.
Yeah, you know what? If I
Walking
was
around all day."
you're walking around watching shows and talking to
Oh
people, I was
yeah.
so doggone tired. And this guy that I know from Pittsburgh, God bless him, he kept calling me up and said, Chuck, you want to go out for a steak dinner? It was like at midnight. I said, no, I'll get heartburn. It was
We
crazy.
usually the late nights, there's only me and maybe 4 or 5 other people that are able to stay awake. And I tell you what was really cool, and I've been seeing more and more of it. Are you guys familiar with a gentleman called David the Rock Nelson?
Boy, that sure sounds familiar. I'm not sure.
Eddie?
I think I something to do with him in Chiller, but I never.
I don't know if he ever would make it to Chiller. David's from, I believe he's from Illinois, and he was, I think it was 1997. He was on the Jon Stewart show. He came in like second place as the weirdest guy in America.
You mentioned him. You mentioned him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know who you mean.
So he is a renegade filmmaker, and he's a great guy. He's out there a little bit, but he is something else. And he always presents the late movie on Friday night. So usually it's supposed to start around 2:30, but things get pushed back. And usually I've been seeing there was maybe me and like 2 or 3 other people. Well, I tell you what, this year to watch David, there was about 10, 12 people that were in there. So he's getting more of a kind of like a cult following for his movies. And he's just he's an out there guy. He's interesting. If anybody out there has ever seen his videos, they're different. You can find him on YouTube, and the best thing to do is watch a few of his videos and just remember, he's a person that he loves what he's doing, and no matter how good or bad you think they are, he loves it and he has a passion for it. And you got to respect someone that
Oh,
that
that's
does
great.
that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
No.
He does his movies with a little camera around his house. It's like him, his girlfriend. He gets people around town, and I don't know if you could really even call them movies because they're about 5 hours long, and there'll be 5 minutes of a story, and then he's at a coffee shop, chasing people around with a camera and all that. And it's interesting, to say the least, but definitely worth checking out. So
Joe,
what's up?
no, I was saying there's a guy that he's a good friends with Sarah, and he's been working, I think, with Sarah and a few more people. He made a movie called The Man Behind the Monster, I think it is. It's about Boris Karloff and Frankenstein. The movie's coming out, I think, now towards October or before then. He's a person I would love to get on this show. I did get his information. I think he was a little bit like Charles Rosner. He was very outgoing and stuff, and he might be a guy, Joe, that you've talked to before, because I think he kind of knew you when I was talking with him.
What's his name? Do you remember it offhand?
You know what? I gotta look up that information, Joe. But I know if you look it up, the man behind the monster, you'll see he's the producer of that film.
Okay.
Wow, cool. Hey, speaking of movies, Joe, we did our homework. We watched He Who Gets Slapped, and I believe White Zombie was the other movie, correct?
Oh, awesome. Yeah. What did you guys think?
Yeah, you know what? He Who Gets Slapped, wow, that was something.
That was really something.
Well, did you guys enjoy it?
I did. I thought it was kind of cool. Well, this guy got slapped the crap out of his whole life, man. The
Yeah.
poor guy. Oh my goodness. And then I like the part where he put the lion cage up to the door.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, and the lion did not touch him. Do you know why? Because the clown tasted funny. But yeah, that was cool. It was neat.
You
Yeah,
watched
well,
White Zombie too, but I didn't watch that one.
Yeah,
What
she
was
don't
that
know.
like?
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I liked it a lot. Well, there were some older movies too there, man, like the like the backgrounds and everything were really cool. I mean, it's just neat watching those older movies.
Yeah, I tell you what, both of them were great, and I have a new movie this week for everybody, and I got to watch it at Monster Bash, and you know what, I don't recall ever seeing this movie. If I did, I saw bits and pieces of it, but it's called It, The Terror from Beyond Space.
Oh, wow.
From 1958.
Okay.
And I tell you what, it was a fantastic. It was so good that I ran out of the screening room at the end and bought the DVD.
Wow.
I said, I got to have it. Just fantastic movie. It's 68 minutes long, and it's an influence for I think it was 78, maybe, the film Aliens by, what's his name that did that? I have to look it up now. 1979 with Ridley Scott.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if you've ever seen that movie,
I saw it, Joe. I have it too.
So if have you seen It, The Terror from Beyond Space?
Yeah,
No.
I told you I saw it and I have it. Jim made me get that a while back.
Yeah, you could see where Ridley Scott got his influences from this movie, because they're almost, identical, and it was so cool. It was such a great movie, and I wanted to know more about it, so I was reading up on it. I had to buy the DVD, but that is everybody's homework for this week.
Yeah, check it out.
Terror from Beyond Space, 1958. I'm not sure if it's on YouTube or not. You might have to do some digging for it. It's tough to even find the DVD anymore. But yeah, I'm sure you could find it somewhere. If you do just a search for it under videos, you could find it.
Yeah, we'll check it out. Hey, did your book ever come? The Witch's Tale about Nancy the Witch?
Yeah, you know what it did? I actually just read it last night.
Okay.
The first part of it, because I'm doing an article on it, and I wanted to get some of the information. I haven't had a chance. I read through one of the scripts, but I want to read the rest of them. But I'm just trying to gather information right now for the article. But man, that's a good book. I tell you what, he did a great job.
He did a very good job. And I checked out a couple of things on YouTube. It's a shame that the quality of the radio shows are pretty bad. There's a lot of snapping, a lot of noises, and stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know what's sad is that Alonzo Dean Cole, did you read in there where he kept all the scripts, all 332 of the scripts, and then threw them all away in 1961.
That's a shame.
Yeah, because there's only, I don't know how many. I know over the years, well, since that book was produced, even, that they've been discovering more of the episodes. But I think there's maybe somewhere around 40 that are available, a little bit under 40. And I know there's more and more scripts being found. On top of the scripts he has, I found another site where a guy dug up. You know what? Let me see. I have it. I think I have it saved. I'll actually, hopefully, it's called genericradio.com/series/witch's tale.
Oh, I'll check that out. Wow.
And he has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 scripts on there.
Oh, nice. I'll check that out. Are they in pretty good quality? Do you know?
These are just the scripts. He doesn't have
Oh,
the
just the show, not the radio show. Okay, I got
yeah.
you.
No, if you could just search in Witch's Tale, you could find stuff. There's a good site that has them. I'm seeing if I'm able to bring it up here. Oldtimeradiodownloads.com.
Okay.
You can find tons of OTR stuff on there, but they have them, but they're all scratchy. A lot of them, I haven't really heard anything that's too good with them.
Yeah, it's a shame because it sounded like it would have been a cool show. And man, they cranked these scripts out left and right. I mean, he was a very creative guy to come out with as many as he did.
Yeah, and I tell you what, which was cool to see is that he actually, which I'm sure that you've read on it too, is that sometimes he would have a single episode, and because they were doing a live broadcast, the episode would run, which by the time his time slot was up, his story wasn't finished, so he would have to just kind of do it on the fly, where he would say, "Okay, tune in next week for the conclusion of
that's amazing
this story," and then he would go home. And he would write out the rest of the script to do another half-hour slot, and
I did read that
the following week. So, from what I read, is that out of his 332 episodes, there was 2 of them that went into 2-parters, and 1 that actually went into a 3-parter.
When I went to 3, yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, I did read that. That was cool. Wow.
None of those shows survived at all. Like basically, none of them did.
Yeah, there's about 38 of them that survived, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, out of 332.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's sad because a lot of those old time radio shows are tough to find. I mean, even out of the Shadow, there's a lot that are missing. I think Inner Sanctum, there was 500 and some. A lot of those are missing. It's just at the time they didn't think future generations were gonna want anything to do with these. A lot of times they threw the stuff out to make room.
Oh yeah,
for other stuff. So a different time. It's kind of sad. There's a Flash Gordon series that's totally missing. I believe it's from the early 30s, and from what I've read is that it's very very juvenile, but I don't even think there's scripts out there for it. So that kind of sucks that nothing for that series has been made available or been found. But the way people are finding things over the years, hopefully it pops up sometime.
Oh, hey, sometimes those things turn up in people's attics and everything. And like you said, you know what? Many years ago, like you said, they didn't know that these things are going to be collectibles. They had no idea. I think the original Time Machine, the one from the 1962 movie, anyway, with I forget the guy's name, Rod something. That turned up like in a Goodwill somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's worth like maybe $200,000 or something like that. It turned up somewhere in a Goodwill. It's amazing.
That's crazy. Even like a lot of these serial cliffhangers that they that are lost. I mean, I was just reading on Serial Squadron. They found the collector. Can't remember what state he was from. Some older guy in his 80s, and he had a whole garage just full of these film reels of serials, hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And they were trying to go through them to see, is there any of these missing serials in there? This guy could be sitting on a gold mine and he don't even know it.
I know. See, that's what I tell Cheri all the time. Quit bothering me throwing things out.
Cheri, don't be throwing stuff out. You call me up and I'll come pick it up and take it here, so my wife could yell at me.
Yeah.
Okay.
One day this stuff I save everywhere is going to be worth money. So just hang in there,
Well, I'm not saying to throw it away, sweetheart. I'm saying we'll get the storage units, put them in.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
You'll be like me.
Yep. That's when we downsize to an apartment eventually, God willing.
There you go. Then you could get 80 storage units like that.
Oh my God.
When you guys say that, I was really amazed. I went over to my brother's house in Florida, and he took out 15, I think it was 15, between 15 and 17 boxes of comic books. And it blew me away that every comic he had in there was number ones. He has the number 1 Mad comic.
Oh, my.
He's got the number 1 Ghost Rider, the number 1 Silver Surfer, the number 1 Mickey Mouse. Casper. I said to him, "You have almost $200,000 in comics. What are you doing?"
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
He goes to me, "Everyone that's duplicate, I'm sending them to you." So he's sending me about 250 number one comics
Wow.
Nice.
the next day or so.
That's a good brother.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're gonna have to. I think we're looking at maybe next year or the following is putting an addition on the house just to get more room.
Uh-oh.
Because my wife, she collects some stuff too, and she's a big book person like I am.
Oh, nice.
So, we were talking and said, if we get a storage unit, over the years you're still going to be paying a lot of money, and you're still, you won't be able to enjoy the stuff that you put in there. And we said, well, maybe if we add on an extra room to the house and make it into a library, we could fit all of our books, because we got books in just about every room in the house, including the kitchen. So I said, if we do a library, we could put all of our books in there and open up, the house a little bit more. So
That would be great. That's a good idea.
Joe, can you talk to my wife? Can you have her talk to my wife about that?
put on an addition.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you what, I didn't have to do much convincing here, because she was in agreement. She, and she works at a bookstore too, and we're both
That's right.
huge book people, readers and collectors. So we said, why don't we make an addition with a room and just put wall-to-wall bookshelves in it and just make it into a library. Put two nice little, reading chairs in there, some nice lighting, and
That would be really cool. You know what? I love a book, Joe. I don't like to read anything on a Kindle or anything, or I love the smell of a book. I love the feel of a book. There's nothing like it,
Yeah, so I'm very excited about that. I hope that ends up going through in the next couple years. And yeah, I'm the same way. I love, that's the first thing I do when I get old books is I smell them. I want to make sure, they have that nice paper smell and not like a musty or moldy smell.
Yeah. Hey, man, I got a pretty big sniffer too. I could sniff a book from across the room.
That's Hey, maybe you can sniff and find London After Midnight.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
They never found that movie. They only made a movie based on still photos of that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm still convinced that somebody has that movie in their attic, because I believe it was.
It's not me, Joe.
It just might be, Eddie. You might have it somewhere. Where were you in the I think the last time it was seen was in the early 50s or mid 50s or something like that.
Oh,
I
that
don't
was
think you were born yet.
before our time. Yeah.
Well, yeah. What happened with that movie is that apparently there was a big fire in Hollywood somewhere, and they lost thousands of those films.
Yeah.
People say if you find that film, it could be worth close to up sort of $1 million.
Wow.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah, something with the chemicals they used on the film would just kind of ignite and cause a big fire in the studio, and they lost a lot of stuff in the MGM studio. But I believe it was last seen in the 50s. I thought I could be wrong, but let's see. Oh yeah, I'm reading on Wikipedia here. So it's saying film historians William K. Everson and David Bradley both claim they saw the film in the early 1950s, and an MGM vault inventory from 1955 shows the print being stored at that time in vault number 7. Oh. And the MGM vault caught fire in 65. So there has to be a printing out there somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, but
somebody has it in their attic, Eddie.
No, but it's saying they didn't say right there that they put it in
next to the robot plans.
Yeah, next to the robot plans. Take a drink.
Hey, did you guys? I don't know, Joe, if I mentioned to you talking about the robot plans, man. One of the things in Florida that I was so pissed. At first, I thought I was actually having fun, and I go to the Versace mansion in South Beach, and I asked the lady, because it's not like a restaurant and a hotel where you pay like $1,000 a night. And I asked the lady, hey, wait a second, where did they kill the guy? I said, right in the stairs. I go, well, where's the crime scene? And she goes, oh, yes. So she starts cracking up, and she goes, yeah, we should have had some fake body or the loud time. But the whole thing is that right there, I get I see an email that I received from a guy that goes by the name of Telshare. It's like a big time, sells things on eBay, and he's been around. Like, he sells a lot of the old novelty stuff. And he claimed he had the robot plants and that he had lost it 10 years ago, and they were over in Colorado. So anyway, here I am. So I get excited because he sends me an email saying that he's going to go in March. Now, I only saw the email this past week. So he goes, I'm going to go in March and try to see if I find the robot plants.
Well, it's good that you're up to date on the emails.
Yeah,
Well,
you keep up to date anyway.
Well, the thing, check this out. This is why I think.
No wonder he never gets back to me. All right,
Yeah, really.
No. Well, the thing is that this guy, I was going to tell him that the two best books written, I mean, never written, that he should try to write is A Tall Tale is Told by Telshare, or a book, what do you mean? My Fish is Bigger Than Yours, Colorado Springs, because this guy tells me. Now, I told this guy that I would give him $300 for a photocopy and $500 for a full, for the actual plans, if he found them. Now, he got like a little, I mean, for the last 2 years, I've been hounding him. Did you go? Not yet. When I get him, I'll let you know. And the same thing with Cav Cavaraj, the guy who's my artist. He's been doing the same thing, connecting with him because Cav knows him for years. Get a load of this baloney. He tells me on the email, which actually didn't answer me when I responded. I say, hey, did you find it? Blah, blah, blah. He said, well, he told Cav, I waited about 6 months and I was going to go with my friend from March to June. It's not 6 months. And he says, since I didn't get back to him, he thought I didn't want him. So he claims he sold them. Now, this is a guy that sells on eBay and all this. And he's got an email saying, he says he sold it in a garage sale in Colorado Springs to a scientist or a robot engineer named Cheri. So then he's got me and Cav looking for all the companies that have a Cheri that does robotics in Colorado.
Oh my!
And every time we send him a photo, he came back and said, that's not the guy. Which I said, even Cav said, the guy's just a big fibber, But that got me so pissed up, man. You know what it is? I'm looking for this thing for 40 years, and the bubblehead says, I don't know if now I'm hoping it's just a lie. He probably did have them because he knows how to describe them. But probably what he did is he went and then he probably couldn't find them, and just either get me. I mean, it's just kind of weird the way he said something like that. Because it would be so stupid to do something like that and sell it, especially not even take a picture of it. You know what I mean? It's overall, like, but anyway,
that smells fishy there.
Yeah, I don't think there was a Cheri.
I know the whole thing is it got me really upset because I'm really looking for this.
That's what that guy gets. He gets a.
Maybe they meant Cheri instead of Cheri. I don't know.
Oh my! But that got me so mad that moment that I was like literally cursing. Like I go, "Is this guy what the?" I mean, what are the chances? I'm like, forget about it, man. So then Cav calmed me down. He's like, Eddie, I think he's lying because why would he? And I say, yeah, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, the whole thing sounds suspicious. It really does.
How does it smell, Chuck?
Yeah, it doesn't smell right. It doesn't pass the sniff test.
I know it doesn't. I was actually going to tell him. I'm telling you, like they used to put in Boys Life magazine, a book never written. I was going to say Told Tales by Telshare out of Colorado Springs.
That's too bad. Yeah, I don't see him selling something like that at a garage sale, and then some, robot engineer just happens to come.
What are the chances, man? Come on.
Yeah, named Cheri. Yeah. I don't know about that, man.
But I got to tell you though, I almost cried. That's how pissed off I was, man.
Well, you'll find them someday when you're not looking for it, Eddie. I'm telling you, it always happens that way.
I think Joe found them. He's just not sending them to me.
I'm going to wait till you're on your deathbed and say, look what I got, Eddie. And as you reach up for him, you slip halfway.
Oh, man.
You guys aren't right.
That's right. Yeah, they've got to pop up somewhere, man. All these things that are missing, all these TV shows, radio shows, and the Robot Monster Plans Take a Drink, they're all going to pop. Somebody has them somewhere, and whether they realize it or not or forgot about it, somebody in their family is going to stumble across it. And, nowadays the way everybody thinks everything's collectible and a fortune. So they're always going to try to sell something, and, things don't get thrown out like they used to, 50, 60, 70 years ago. Where your mom throws out your comic books or whatever,
No, that's exactly right. You wouldn't believe, Joe, how many magic posters and magic old pieces from Thayer from way back in the 20s turns up like in people's attics. You know
Yeah.
what? I mean, like Grandpa might have dabbled in a little bit of magic, and you know what? And he had some stuff, and he just put it up there, and they forgot about it for like 50 years or something. I mean, stuff turns up. It really does. It's
Hey,
amazing.
Joe,
Eddie.
you're basically the vampire person here. How do you? I mean, when you look at Lon Chaney,
Why?
and
Because I work midnights.
well, kind of, but when you saw him in London after midnight, what do you think? Don't you think that's one of the coolest vampire-looking persons I've ever seen? Like, what's your take on that?
I think it's a cool costume. From what I heard, the story in the movie is pretty mundane and not that good, but I think the costume's fantastic. I have a figure of him that I can't remember who put it out back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I think it was Sideshow maybe. But the figure's fantastic. I mean, just those sharpened teeth and the cape and the cap. I mean, he's creepy looking, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely wouldn't want to run across him in a foggy London night that way, because I might have to go up to him and give him a.
When you're talking about film collectors, this guy who owns the Charles Atlas Company, he actually has a warehouse of about, I think, 2,500 films, B films, that he owns the rights to. That's interesting, huh?
Wow, that's because
Wow.
tell you what, a lot of those films are getting harder to come by too. And I was surprised that even at like Monster Bash, you don't see anybody selling anything like that. I mean, you find the little 8mm ones that Castle Films put out, back in the 60s and 70s, but you don't see any actual reel to reel film,
No.
16 to 35mm anything. Which I mean, it would be great to come across, a horror movie like that. And a buddy of mine has a projector that he's trying to fix. For some reason, he can't get the sound working on it. But I always thought it'd be cool to get a nice horror movie to play on that and play it against my garage outside at night and watch it. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Do you have
neighbors over?
Yeah, I have all my neighbors come over.
Popcorn.
Yep,
Yeah.
them and their kids watch the movies. Yeah, I remember back in this was the late 90s. A buddy of mine in the military, he was from Pennsylvania, and he said every year, like around in October, they got together and went out to where remember the movie Evil Dead?
Oh yeah.
Where it took place in the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they knew where the cabin was, but all that was left of it was just the chimney. So he said they would go out there, they would bring generators and a movie player, and they would play the movie against the brick chimney out there. He goes, it was the creepiest thing ever, but it was just so cool.
That would be neat. That would be really cool. We're gonna sometime in the future. That's on our list. We're gonna visit the cemetery up in Evans City, PA, where they filmed part of the Night of the Living Dead. So we'll do a little video on there. That'll be kind of cool.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I know a lot of people from when Monster Bash was in Mars, they would go out there.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to go, but I figured there'd probably be too many people, going at that time. So
yeah, I'd like to find that exact tombstone. Where Barbara was running, and her brother was going, Barbara, he's coming to get you. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I like to see that.
From what I've heard from several people is that if you go out there, the guy that takes care of the place, if you're really respectful and all that, he'll show you where everything is and
Nice.
That would be cool.
kind of give you a little tour and all that. But I guess there's kids that go out there and act up and everything, but he's pretty cool to adults that go out there and act their age, I guess.
What year did they film that?
What year did they film it?
Oh, that was 1968, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's just when I got here from Cuba. Interesting.
Huh.
Late, huh?
Yeah, 1968.
Yeah, Chuck, I received one of those books. It's like from the 1950s, 60s, that has epitaphs inside that have funny sayings. Collection. Yeah. I actually ordered one. I was looking through it. I mean, they're not as funny as you would think, because I thought I had better ones. But I think there was like a part 2 and 3 to it. It was pretty kind of cool. But one thing I'm going to say, though, is I also wanted to mention to you guys before the end of the show, I was watching a TED Talk, and you guys are probably familiar with TED Talk on YouTube.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. You familiar with it, Joe?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There's a guy, he's a scientist, I forgot his name, and he was talking about AI. You know how, because I don't know if you guys are aware of the fact that Google recently fired or put on leave one of their AI, which is artificial intelligence, one of their engineers, because he stated that, I forgot the name of the particular machine or computer that was actually having emotions.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah, and so they're saying the computer actually reacted to him. And he goes that was kind of scary and stuff. And I think Google put him on whatever because he didn't want them to tell the public. But
the robot revolution is coming.
I'm telling you,
it was kind of interesting, that thing. But the overall,
that's pretty scary stuff. Pretty scary.
Yeah, it is, because what can do and it cannot do and stuff. And then the scientist was bringing that up and stuff, how the future could be changed with that.
Yeah. Hey, one of my favorite movies I talked about before is Westworld.
Westworld, yeah.
I mean, that's a really cool movie, man. Michael Crichton. That's all he talked about was robots getting out of control someday.
Right, but one thing that he brought up to the attention of people, he said that they have these drones now, that they've had them for a while, that they're totally invisible to the naked eye.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it works is that the drones have cameras on top of the drone that reflect the image of the clouds underneath the drone.
Oh my goodness.
So when it's flying, you don't see it, but it actually it's there. So I was telling Joe that I was thinking of Joe because the guy said, believe it or not, that's the cause of a lot of UFO sightings.
Sure.
In Arizona, I think he mentioned.
Wow.
Well, Eddie, there all these AIs and these robots, they're definitely, with the technology, I think they are getting out of hand a little bit and gaining some intelligence. But there is one robot out there that will not gain intelligence, but has a chance for you to gain something. Do you know what that is?
My robot plants have been found.
It's the Master Mystery Robot from Houdini. And we have a contest about that.
Oh,
that's
you guys like to hear about the contest?
No, go ahead. Bring it on.
All righty. So we have the Mastery Mystery Robot Model Contest by House of the Unusual. So you design your own amazing futuristic robot. And guys, I'm going to just read it off for the form. Please go to houseoftheunusual.com. In the form, you'll see the title Mastery Mystery Robot Model Contest, and you could find all the info there. But hey, the rules are simple. You head over to 1878press.com, and you could find the Mastery Mystery Robot Model plans there. So you purchase them there, and you anxiously await for their arrival, and then you just complete the robots, send in a photo or video with you and your completed Mastery Mystery Robot model to houseoftheunusual@gmail.com. And a panel of highly trained monkeys will pick the best finished model. And what does the winner win? Well, one winner will receive a fully colored 7-foot Frankenstein monster poster.
All right.
Value of over $140. Just pay shipping. Wow.
Nice.
And we have photos of the posters on there. One of them has Eddie. He's not included, but for the right price, we will ship him out to you, and he will talk to you about robot monster plans all day. So hurry, guys. Entries must be submitted by September 1st, 2022 at 12 a.m. Eastern Time. The winner will be announced on September 5th, 2022 by email and on the forum site. The lucky winner will also be praised to the highest standards on an episode of the House of the Unusual podcast.
All right.
Like I said,
and
you guys can find all that information on houseoftheunusual.com under the forum. Look for the Mastery Mystery Robot Model Contest.
Fantastic. And if people don't know the Frankenstein they're talking about is the Frankenstein next to Boney the Skeleton, the famous green one, sold in all the comic books. So you'll finally get a piece of history and get to build your very own robot, something that Eddie never got.
And I tell you what, I'm gonna Chuck, you put one together, correct?
I did, but I kind of made a mistake. I couldn't find the hands, and I told Eddie this thing doesn't have hands, and I kind of put them on where his kneecap goes. So you know what? Take your time. That's all I
Well,
can tell you.
I'm gonna start on mine. Hopefully this weekend I'm gonna at least get some pieces cut out. I'm thinking of using an X-Acto knife to cut through it. I think that will get the best cut rather than scissors. I'll just end up cutting myself with those. But
I
yeah,
tell you what, it's a very nice project. I mean, I think they did a nice job, and it is a beautiful collector's item. You know, just
yeah.
take your time with it. It takes a while to cut everything out. When you're done cutting it out, I put the pieces into a big Ziploc baggie. Then I took a break, and then the next day I came back and I kind of folded them and glued them, and I kind of guessed where everything went. But you know what? It's a nice project. It takes a while. Just take your time.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you're not going to finish in a day or two or
No.
an hour or two. It's going to be tough, and that's why we're offering such a great prize for whoever puts shows us their photo with them in it, because we definitely want to see people building their robots. And I mean, like you said, it's a cool piece of history, and just the poster too, the Frankenstein. That's one of my favorite Frankenstein images. So I'm glad that's the one that Eddie chose to put up for our prize here.
Nice. Hey, I'm building a build here. This thing is driving me crazy, and we'll get it on film if this does work. I think it will, but I don't know if the average person would even know what I'm talking about. But there's a little trapeze artist by Robert Houdin. He's known as the father of modern magic. If you search Robert Houdin, Houdin, trapeze artist is known as his name is Antonio Diavolo. So I'm building like a mechanical trapeze artist. You know what? What's going to happen is I actually put him on top of the trapeze, and then he'll start to pull himself up. He'll stand on his arms, his legs will come out, he'll swing back around. It's really cool. It's all mechanical. And I have so many gears and relays and servos and motors in there. I actually fit it in. He's 17 inches long only. The original was 34 inches long. So you know what? Like in my spare time, I've been playing with this thing.
And the video of this project will debut on the House of Unusual.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we'll send Eddie the raw footage when I get this up and working.
No one will get to see the interior of it. That is top secret.
Yeah.
Cheri, will you be doing the video?
I'm sorry?
Cheri, will you be doing the video?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We always like to hear your commentary behind there, and especially.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll be doing commentary on this one.
You got to do commentary. Come on.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
She is funny.
Feel free to trick Chuck in there any way you can, especially like the what was it, the April Fool's.
That was he had no clue I was going to do that.
Yeah, we always love your commentary behind the camera. I always look forward to that. So
thank you.
Definitely got to throw it in there.
She is. I'll tell you what. She is funny, man. She makes the videos. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely, it's a great back and forth, man. I mean, it just makes the videos are really cool.
It does.
One thing that kind of baffled me here is I'm a big guy. I mean, I'm almost 6 feet, and I'm actually 6 feet by minus a line. And Chuck, me and you wear large, right?
Yeah, large is good, but I'm better than an extra large, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't get how my little friend over here, Joe, wears an extra large. He blew me away on that.
Yeah, I tried to put on that large you sent me, and it looked like a little kid's shirt on me. It barely went past my waist, so I gave it to my wife, and it was it was big on her because she wears the small, and I said, we'll throw it up on a hanger, and during Halloween we'll hang it in front of the house or something.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But
So hey guys, also I wanted to, before I forget, is mention I think we mentioned it last podcast or the one before, but Stupid Comics magazine has issue number 7 out. I just got mine in the mail Monday, I think it was. Yeah, I believe it was Monday, and it's fantastic. Ski did another great job. We have a huge on the next to the last page, a huge of the unusual full page ad on there, and it looks absolutely beautiful, all black and white with the huge ghost and the guy running. So definitely pick up if you guys haven't already, pick up the magazine. I've read through it a little bit. It's absolutely hilarious. And if people don't know what we're talking about, it's called Stoopid, Stoopid. and it's a magazine kind of like the mix of The Far Side and Cracked and Mad, and it's kind of all rolled into one. And it's put out by stupidcomicsmagazine.com. You could head over there. You could buy each individual issue, or they have a great package for all issues for 0 through number 7. And you could also go to the top where it says stuff, and you could do cool stuff like this.
And Joe,
So definitely check them out. What's up?
Did you see right next to the last page where we have the ad, what's coming? Did you see what I think Ski is doing?
No, I didn't. I don't think so.
Yeah, he has. It looks like he's registered the name jokeshop.net. And I think he's putting an online novelty business.
Oh,
Kind
nice.
of like
Cool.
a joke and magic. I guess it's just jokes. So I think he's going to be selling jokes or something. Because I checked it out and I'm like, this is interesting.
Yeah, I see. Oh, at the end of it, yeah, I'm looking right now. Jokeshop.net.
Yeah, I looked at that. I'll probably give him a call and help him out with that because he will probably need connections and where to get the novelties and all that. And I can probably let him use one of my accounts.
Yeah, I'm looking on it right now, and it looks like he's just getting it up and running, so there's not much on there. But we'll definitely keep everybody up to date on that and see where that goes. That's always cool. And the more people out there with the novelties and jokes, the better, man. It just builds our community.
We are the House of the Unusual, the original magic shop.
That's it too, man.
Yep.
Hey, we're coming down. We got about 4 minutes left here, so let's wrap it up and get some last thoughts on the week because everyone's been busy and had a lot going on. So, Chuck and Cheri, what are some of your last thoughts you want to leave our listeners with?
All right. Hey, it's always a pleasure coming on here. You know what? We're going to be keeping busy with the shows, and we're going to be visiting a grave coming up in the near future of the Riddler. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, cool.
He's Frank Gorshin. He's actually buried out here in the suburb of Pittsburgh. And,
wow.
He has a really cool tombstone. If you find a grave, you'll see it's really neat. So we're looking forward to doing that. And, we're keeping busy. I'm building stuff in my spare time. Cheri, what about you?
Yeah. We're working out at the Y or our local community center. Doing things like that, keeping active and trying to get back into shape. And how about you guys?
Well, it's never too late for that. I've been working out and playing hockey, and it's been a uphill battle to say the least. So it's getting easier.
We're impressed with you, Joe, doing ice hockey. That's awesome.
It's tough. I met a guy today. He was 2 years older than me, and he just started back playing after a few years off. And I met last week I played a pickup game, met another guy. He was a year younger than me, and he just came back after 18 years. And,
wow.
We all said, man, it's tough, but it's getting easier. It's an uphill battle for sure, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to stay in shape. So what's new? What's some of your last words, Eddie? What do you want to leave our wonderful crowd with?
Well, the thing I want to tell the crowd is I've been talking with obviously Mr. Joe there and Chuck and stuff on ideas, but Crypt of Classics will soon debut a very special surprise for everybody. And I guess Joe will be the ultimate decision maker, how that's going to turn around and how it's going. You're working that out, Joe. But there's quite a few ideas down the pike here. And actually tonight I actually had another idea, and I'm just kind of probably discuss it with you later after the show, Joe. But other than that, that's about it. I'm just looking to see how to make the show each better, especially now hitting into the month of September, where it's going to be big for us.
All right, awesome, man. So we want to thank everybody for joining us once again. Find us on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a like. Also, check us out on YouTube. Just search in House of the Unusual. Subscribe there. Like our videos. Leave us a comment if you need to. Don't forget our flagship site, houseoftheunusual.com. We have a free forum site there, and you could find all of our links and goodies there. Also, there's some links to the eBay store and all that, where Eddie's selling some great mail order novelties. Also, head over to mymoviemonsters.com. Issue number 127 of Scary Monsters, the Island Ghouls issue, is up for pre-order. So you could grab that on there now, get it before it hits the shelves. And also be on the lookout for Castle of Frankenstein number 36. It is coming this fall. And I think that's it. Oh, yeah, don't forget about your guys' homework for the weekend. The Terror from Beyond Space.
We'll check it out.
1958. If you guys have never seen that movie out there, it is worth watching. You'll absolutely love it, and you'll definitely see the parallels between that movie and Ridley Scott's Alien from 1979. They're almost one and the same, man, just made in different decades. So, hey, that's all we got, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for joining us every week, and we will see and hear from everyone next weekend. So good night.
All right. Good night. God bless.
God bless, man. Take care.
Bye.